We're adding agents to the Vargas team right now, but not the way most teams do. And in a minute, I'm going to walk you through why we limit what our agents actually work on, how our growth path actually works, and why that structure is the reason our agents can scale without burning out. So it's not just about adding agents just for the sake of numbers. We're adding agents because our systems, our leadership, our operations can support it without breaking any culture. When structure works, growth has to be intentional. It can be very misleading when you see either a brokerage or a team just, hey, we have 50 agents, we have 70 agents, we have 30 agents. And the challenge with that is we don't know, are they all the right cultural fit? Um, is everyone aligned the same way? Is everyone's goals being accomplished? Is the vision of the team big enough that the vision of each agent is underneath it can grow? Is there enough structure for that team to have these 50 agents? Are we just adding agents just to add agents? Are these agents doing things they're not supposed to be on the team? Not anything illegally. What I'm saying is there not an operational system in place that the agents are now doing operational things, right? So when you start to grow too big just by agent count, sure, it can look great. Look, we've attracted this much, we recruited this, but we don't really see what's behind the scenes, right? Is that system running well? Is everyone in a line for the goal, right? Are those small little roles going to accomplish the big goals, the small rock, big rock? Now, when I'm saying we're adding agents because our systems, leadership, and operations can support it, is we have the infrastructure to continue to grow, but not have agents just kind of disappear and fear lost, right? It happens. Sometimes they always say for every 4 to 5 agent, you should have one type of leader there. You should have either a mentor or a lead agent. And growing just for the sake of growing, you can then diminish that leadership potential because that person cannot lead effectively 20, 30 people themselves. I don't care what people say. It's about having a relationship and it's about understanding what that person's goals are. And it is a big challenge to stay in that relationship leadership role with everyone once you start getting past that effective point, right? When you get past now 7, 9, 10, 15 people, it's a hard thing to do. So having that opportunity for growth, having leaders on the inside that will step up for every X amount of agents, and having that support system operational wise now allows us to continue to grow, to expand, and have agents do what they're supposed to be doing, right? There's very few things we should be doing, but we need to be doing at a high level. So before systems, before splits, before anything else, values come first. So our values aren't just kind of stuff we recite and they're just posters. They actually affect how we do business. The systems only work when the values are shared and everyone is in alignment. They're all understanding the same thing in terms of the value we present for clients, the values we have on the inside. Culture is built through standards and not intentions. So let's kind of break down what some of our values are on our team. We have an acronym called CATCH, stands for care, activity, teamwork, communication, and honesty. Let's break down the first one, care. It's always thinking, how can I come from contribution and think about others first, right? When we're talking to clients, we're talking to vending partners, to other agents, you have to have the thought process of how can I come from contribution? How can I show them that I care, right? Always thinking of others first. That's the first one, care. The next one, activity. We focus on doing the work. Very simple. We always are doing activity. We focus on the 5 things that we need to be doing that are the most important income producing activity. We remove any excuses. If you are not here to do activity or understand the value of that, the alignment of values do not exist. So apologize, the T file got corrupted. So when we look at the T in catch, it's teamwork. It's always thinking, how can we all grow to the next level? How can we accomplish our goals before I? So T stands for teamwork. It's us together first before an individual. Understanding everyone's role will achieve that ultimate goal. The next one, C, communication, probably my favorite. We believe in over communicating in our team. So, over communication always prevents miscommunication. It's a proactive way of eliminating potential problems. We over communicate as it relates to our clients. We over communicate as it relates to each other with vending partners, wherever it is. We always want to over communicate things, right? Clarity is a powerful thing. If there's not enough clarity because we're not communicating, we're setting ourselves up for failure. And lastly, H, honesty. I mean, it's should go without saying. When you're honest to yourself, you're honest to others. If you are having challenges as an agent, whether it's personal, business, be honest. You can't be helped, and no one's willing to help you if you're not honest with yourself. It also sets real expectations, right? When you are honest about what you're doing, the reality is, am I going to achieve the goal by doing what I'm doing? Is this aligning with what I want to achieve? So, honesty is protecting long term trust. Um, we're very transparent, so communication and honesty is one of the top things that I always feel. And being honest with clients, telling them the truth. You know, sometimes the best value is saying, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, it doesn't sound like the goal is really to sell. Have you looked at maybe a contractor to finish that, to finish the basement, right? That's being honest at all times. So most agents are busy, but they're not productive. I did a video before where it kind of goes over, you can be doing a lot of things, but they're not income producing things, right? So we want our agents to just focus on the five things that are actually income producing. So those five things, here's the order that we have our agents focus on. Nothing else. It's lead generation and lead follow up. This is what's going to be creating our relationships, strengthening relationships to set up those dots on the calendars, or what we call it, a pipeline in the future. Second thing, appointments. So once a client's ready to move to the next step, then we either do a buyer consultation, a buyer appointment, a listing consultation, a listing appointment, or sometimes we just connect someone with the lender, right? And by the way, there is a difference between a consultation and an appointment. The third thing, if you're representing a buyer, you're going to be showing property, right? If you're representing a seller, it's going to be getting that listing ready. We know a lot of times the listings we see out there, there's a lot of work that happens prior, right? The fourth thing is making offers. If you're representing a buyer, if you're on the seller side, is receiving those offers. And then the fifth thing is negotiations. So throughout that process, whether it's a home inspection, termite, well, septic, appraisal, whatever it is, or I guess I should go back to the offer, the agents that should be focusing on that fifth thing, and that's negotiation. So those are those five things: lead gen, lead follow up, appointments, either showing property, getting a listing ready, making or receiving offers, and negotiations. Honestly, everything else in the business exists only to support those five things. And the key is we only want our agents to focus on those five because those are the most income producing activities. Now, we also add the requirement of staying learning based and committing to self mastery. But in terms of activity, are those five things. Once we have those five things squared away, everything else is leveraged by design. Everything around those five things are leveraged by operational support. So, lead generation. How do we do things on our team? Sure, there's a lot of teams that will just throw you a bunch of leads and they expect a bigger split because they are looking for conversion. They're looking for lead converters, and that is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. How we do things here is a little bit different. We want you to learn how to, in the future, have the option to grow your own business, grow your own team within our team, right? So leads here support execution, but they don't replace it. Prospecting is still expected from everyone, right? When you have enough lead generation, for example, everyone should be able to have their own database. They should be able to grow and build their own relationship. Now, when you add 2 to 4 transactional lead generation sources on top of the team's already database and transactional lead sources, the sky's the limit. So we want to be able to understand that leads from the team are supports, not shortcuts. It's added bonus incentives to continue to reach that goal. If an agent closes 20 deals from team deals and they close 15 on their own, that's better than just 20 by themselves or 15 by themselves. So it goes hand in hand in understanding that lead generation from the team as well as lead generation from the agent is only going to be best combined to grow to the next level. So, something that's very unique to our team is a 2 tier growth system. Um, it's operating on a 2 tier system that's built around progression and not entitlement. Let me kind of expand a little bit more on this. So, in my years of leading a team, being a coach, training, seeing other team structures, other brokerage structures, I realized that there's kind of 3 types of agents out there. But in our team, our cultures and values kind of follows 2 of the 3, right? And so what we did is we broke down different agents by tiers. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means where they're at in their career is different. Each agent is different. So let's kind of break down tier one a little bit. So tier one is more foundational. These are where either you're a newer agent, and I'll be honest, sometimes you can be what we call entrepreneurial agent, meaning you don't really have systems and models, accountability, coaching. You're just kind of winging it. There are some entrepreneurial agents that are closing 5 million, 10 million, right? I've seen them all. This is more for that agent that's kind of needing to build a foundation. This is where they need to create muscle memory, create great habits. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times this is more of a mindset thing. This is where whether you've been producing and you're not where you want to be at because you're entrepreneurial, or you've been in the business for a while and you haven't really produced much, or maybe you're a brand new agent. This tier is really dedicated to creating that foundation. Like I said, you may be a high producer and this tier may fit you better, right? um, this is where really more hands-on coaching, more hands-on setting expectations with clients, more trainings, more building you up to be consistent, right? I always say it's mindset, activity, then the skill will get better and results will come. So tier one is more a foundational. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent or you've been in the business 20 years, you may not have that right foundation to get you to where you want to be. Well, so then naturally, what's next? And that's tier two. This is when you start moving from, I'm established, I've kind of have the right mindset. I'm even showing leadership things, right? We talk a lot about tier two being where the top producers that are what we call interdependent, meaning they're they're building their own systems and models within our systems and models. Maybe they have their own showing agent. Maybe they're a mentor, right? We had an agent that was in a moving to a tier two because he was had the foundation and now he was moving. This was recently. He's moving to the next level of being a mentor. So in tier two, you're going to see leadership opportunities. You're going to see more leverage within the team. Like I said, you could be at that point where mindset is there, activity is there, you're ready to, the results are coming in, your skill is always improving, and you're ready to now leverage to maybe you need your own transaction coordinator, right? Maybe you need your own listing coordinator if you're listing heavy. This is where we want to invest together with that tier two agent to say, hey, let's work on a plan that we can pay for half, right? As long as you're investing and we're investing back, let's continue to grow. So the tier two is once you've established that foundation, and obviously tier two is where everyone should be striving to be, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be growing your team within a team, but now you're at that point where you can be that one we can call upon to help an agent, right? You're at that next level where you can fill in for some coaching things. You can be that next mentor. You can be that next leader. So once you reach that tier two, things change in terms of a compensation model, right? You're pretty much a higher producer now that we're really working on your business rather than in your business. And with that being said, things are tiered a little bit more favorable for that agent. So one of the things we look for, how does an agent go from tier one to tier two is, are they following our catch values, right? Are they what we call, are they not an operational nightmare, meaning they're not following our systems and models, right? Of course, production is one as well, but just because an agent is tenured on the team, or even say just because an agent has reached their production numbers or the standard for that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they fit the whole picture in terms of moving to a tier two. So that's where part of our values come in, right? We're very specific on the culture and the value. And naturally, if you're a good fit at tier one or tier two, you're going to be a good fit to continue to grow with us. Obviously, life happens, people relocate, things like that. But this is a beautiful thing. We want the opportunity for an agent to continue to grow. There should be no level, and our vision is big enough. And I'll hear it from other agents. It's like I'll see step 12 and they're just focusing on step 5, which is fine, but just know we always will see that vision for that agent as long as they match our culture and our values. So here's a real opportunity. It isn't just about having more transactions. If you're looking for, uh, you know, an organization, a team that has the trajectory to continue to move up and not just what you're seeing now in terms of output, it's a long term growth to live your life by design. This is it, right? We have leadership opportunities. There's different, amounts of the goal, and I will tell you is it's we want you to be balanced. It's not just about production, production, production. Yes, that's important because money is good for the great things it can do, but you also need to be balanced. Time balance with your family, with you time and your business time, right? So if you're wanting to build something, right? Something bigger than us. I said it in another video, the brand has to be bigger than that one agent. A lot of agents don't understand that we need to be bigger. The brand has to be bigger than us. We need agents to help us continue to grow that brand because as that brand grows, their brand will continue to grow. So if this resonates with you, take a look through the rest of the content here. It'll give you a clearer picture of how we operate and who this is built for. After that, if this is aligned, starting a conversation is pretty easy. Let's get it.